passing touchdown with a touchdown catch, and the Chiefs are back in front.
They made that one look easy right there.
He struggled after the break. Looks to throw. On the move, he's in trouble, and he throws an interception right into the hands of Willie Gay. Different game, same story for Zappi. Out of the halftime break, different guy gets intercepted, and the Chiefs have it on the doorstep. Second and goal, Mahomes. First read taken away, back in the end zone. Edwards-Helaire! Touchdown, Kansas City! 5-7, climbs the ladder for his first receiving touchdown of the year. Mahomes threw that thing up like it was for Kelsey. And it's 23-10 from the 24-yard line. Over the middle, Tony juggles, and it's picked by Jelani Tavai. And now Tavai throws it away. What is he doing? Out of bounds, Patriots maintain possession. And the latest Kadarius Toney mistake turns into a turnover.
And just, you got to make the catch. I mean, it's perfectly placed.
27-17, the Chiefs going to win this one and get to 9-5, and everything's just fine in Kansas City after they lose back-to-back games for the first time in more than 2 years, and Taylor Swift in a return to Gillette Stadium as their squad come out with the win.
Well, listen, when you're as close as the AFC is right now, wins are hard to get, and you better enjoy each one, and they're very important. And so this one, no different than that because of the situation. I like the way some of the guys approach this thing, and my leaders stepped up and did a nice job. And I mentioned Spags and Nags on the offensive side, Dave Tobe. Their leadership was important at this time, and they did a good job with it.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's a Victory Monday, December 18th, 2023. Stephen St.John and Nate Bukaty with Jake Gutierrez. Today on the show, we'll have Todd Lebo, Catherine Tappan, Chase Daniel, and Bill Moss. And also some post-game sound from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon after the Chiefs get back to their winning ways, winning in Foxborough against the Patriots. It wasn't pretty. We did not anticipate it would be pretty, but none of that matters now. Style points don't matter. All that matters are W's, wins. We are in the thick of it. We are in the stretch run, so nothing else matters. Doesn't matter how it looks, doesn't matter how you do it. All that matters is you win, and the Chiefs did that 27-17 over the New England Patriots yesterday in what was a bizarre broadcast on Fox. It really, for the second half of the game, it was almost more like a sports talk show, as for about an hour they discussed the demise of Bill Belichick and reminding us how terrible the Patriots were, speculating on who the next coach would be. They even threw a current NFL coach out there. I mean, you don't hear broadcast crews do that very often. They threw Mike Vrabel out there. Well, he's got a contract in Tennessee, but sure there'll be some mutual interest between the Patriots and Mike Vrabel as Belichick standing there on the sideline. That was bizarre. They circled Gerard Mayo on the staff as possibly the heir apparent. They're going through a list of candidates to replace Bill Belichick. Is that a done deal? I didn't know. I didn't realize. But they continued to, they've been bad now for like 3 or 4 years. And so, it may be time to move on. And there were long stretches where they ignored the game, which is fine. It just went on and on about Bill Belichick, his future, what he's meant to the franchise, why they're so terrible, why he can't figure out quarterback right now, and why it may be time to move on. I wonder how, and maybe Titans fans don't care, but I wonder how Tennessee fans felt about the broadcast crew on Fox putting Mike Vrabel's name into the coaching search for New England. It was really weird. I don't know. Maybe the game on the field wasn't compelling enough to keep their attention, and I could understand that. I get it. That's fine. But just a weird broadcast. I don't know. Talking about comparing to when Tom Landry, the Cowboys made the transition from Tom Landry to Jimmy Johnson. I don't know. It was just weird. There was a game going on, and the Chiefs won it 27-17. Patrick Mahomes threw for over 300 yards, so that's good. Rashee Rice had another big day, 9 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. That's good. Jake, a few weeks ago, I made the comment that, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing some more Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He actually looks good now in very small spurts, in limited opportunities. Well, he got more opportunity yesterday because of Isaiah Pacheco in his absence. Clyde wasn't great, 13 carries for 37 yards, but it was nice to see a receiver, even though he's not a wide receiver. He was out there as a receiver. It was nice to see a receiver make a really good catch, an above-average catch, a really good catch in the back of the end zone. That doesn't happen that often. We're conditioned to watch the Chiefs receiver hit the ground and the ball is jarred loose, or just get a hand on the ball and it falls into the waiting arms of a defender. I mean, can you imagine if that was Kadarius Toney in the back of the end zone, where that ball might have ended up? Probably in the stands, would have ricocheted off his iron hands into someone else's arms. But that was a great catch by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And he ended up with he had the big play on the screen pass as well, where he broke a tackle, stayed in bounds, and picked up some more yards. He ended up with 4 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. So overall, he had over 100 yards of total offense, 101 yards from scrimmage. So that was really good. Very nice to see that. And so, is he Isaiah Pacheco? No, but he had to step in, and he made some plays. That's all you could ask. He made He made a huge play with that touchdown catch when the Chiefs put the game away, and you know what? He's had so much criticism, and his career has not gone anything close to what people had hoped for. So it was good to see him come through with a big game, and to be honest, make himself a little bit of money maybe on the free agent market to show that he could still be a useful piece for an offense, a good backup who could step in and be productive when called upon. But other than that, the game it wasn't pretty, and this was a game where the Chiefs, it was a lot of the same things that we've seen in the past, shooting themselves in the foot, mistakes, 2 interceptions that very easily could have not been interceptions for Patrick Mahomes. He gets credit for them. And so when you look at the box score, if you didn't watch the game, he threw over 300 yards. He had a couple of touchdowns. 2 more turnovers, 2 interceptions. See, Mahomes isn't the same. But then if you watch the game, he threw a ball with, at worst, was a 50-50 ball to Blake Bell. I bet Zach Ertz would have caught that pass. What? Just daydreaming. Blake Bell, who was out there, who fight for the ball. Contested catch. I mean, he had the ball snatched right out of his hands. Was it a perfect throw? No. It was a good play by the defender. But you can't let that happen. I mean, he had the ball just ripped from his hands. So the guy wanted it more. And so that was, look, is that a drop? I don't know what you want to call it. At the very least, it was a contested catch. It was a 50-50 ball that Blake Bell didn't come up with, and it ended up as an interception. So, I mean, I guess we can live with that. But it's Blake Bell. I don't know. Other options out there, but the Chiefs are very stubborn when it comes to some players that continue to be on the roster. And the person I'm really thinking of is Kadarius Toney. Because Kadarius Toney, you look at the box score, he had 4 targets, 2 catches for 5 yards with a long of 3, so the production wasn't there. But he had another perfect pass go right into his hands, and he couldn't catch it. He bobbled it, it went up in the air, and it was intercepted by the Patriots. No! And the game was over at that point, but that did give the Patriots at least some life. It gave them life. It was a blowout. And that interception immediately led to a touchdown. And I don't want to hear, the defense should have stopped him. No, this happens every week. And you saw from Patrick Mahomes' reaction on the sideline, he's had it. He's done with it. Now, Andy Reid and Brett Veach, they're going to have to show that they're done with it. I don't know if the narrative is, there was an official out there that distracted Kadarius Toney, and that's what led him to not catch the football. Or somehow they could point the finger in another direction, because that's what they've done with Kadarius Toney. It never seems to be his fault. Against the Lions, that's our fault for bringing him back too soon. Well, I mean, he can catch the football, when necessary. So, but they absolved him from blame there. Well, you know what? We pushed him, brought him back too soon from injury. You can't blame him for the multitude of drops he had in that game. And it's just things have happened over and over again like this, and it just seems like he's never the guy to blame. We had an email after the show on Friday about Kadarius Toney. And it was really interesting, because I feel like most people are where I'm at, or where Patrick Mahomes is at. Like, why is he still on the field? Why is he still getting the football thrown to him? The Patriots were not good enough to take advantage of that gift. They're not. With Bailey Zappi at quarterback, they're not good enough to take advantage of that. If that happens in a playoff game, that could lose the Chiefs the game. He's made mistakes that have helped lead the Chiefs to a loss. You cannot have that type of mistake in a playoff game against a good team. The Patriots were not good enough to make the Chiefs. They did with that particular drive. They turned that interception into a touchdown, but they weren't good enough to make the Chiefs pay for their mistakes yesterday. And we had an email from someone named Steve. Enough with the KT criticism. He's really different, weird wording that I'm not going to repeat, but whatever. His drop and interception did not cost us the Detroit game any more than MVS's drop cost us the Eagles game. And I look at it like, his drop and interception did cost the Chiefs the Detroit game, and I do blame MVS for the drop in the Eagles game. Maybe I missed me with that one. So the problem is, you media talking heads don't have the sacks to tell it like it is. The officiating in the NFL is terrible, and it's orchestrated, blah, blah, blah. So he goes into how everything is the official's fault. And then he blamed
good balls.
How many different people did he blame instead of Kadarius Toney?
It takes a lot of guts to blame the refs. I mean, that is a brave take.
If this guy is Kadarius Toney's agent.
Is the name Tadarius Coney?
Yeah. He blamed the officials.
Yep.
He
Which
said,
is a ballsy move.
Sooner or later, you have to state the obvious and please stop the KT bash sessions that's been going on since week 1. Undeserving, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah,
So there's 10 other guys and 20 coaches on the sideline. Yeah. How come no one said, hey, KT, move back 6 inches? Then he blamed Creed Humphrey. Creed moves the ball back 1.5 feet every time he prepares a snap.
I don't think so.
You know, then the inept officiating. So he blamed the 10 other guys on the field, the 20 coaches on the sideline, specifically Creed Humphrey, then the officials, and then the media. All of those entities deserve blame before we get to Kadarius Toney, who just won't catch passes on a regular basis. He won't. He won't. I'm not telling you he doesn't want to. I'm quite sure he wants to. I hope he wants to. I think he wants to. Of course he wants to. But he can't. Like, how much evidence do you need? And so I ask you, when the Chiefs get to the playoffs, and yes, they're going to the playoffs, and they're going to have at least one game at Arrowhead. Thank you, Denver Broncos, for laying down like dead horses on Saturday night. You got to ask yourself this question. Is his, described by Travis Kelce, described by Andy Reid and everyone else, is his ability to make things happen with the football in his hands when the football stays in his hands, is that what he could do with the football worth the possibility, the strong possibility, that something like that happens in a playoff game? Because let me tell you, the teams that will be in the playoffs are much, much better than the Patriots. And the Chiefs may not be able to get away with having something like that happen. They haven't before. They didn't get away with it against Detroit. They against good teams, they're just not good enough to overcome these huge mistakes.
Can't do it.
That either lead to points for the opposition or take points away from the Chiefs.
Can't do it.
So it's a reasonable question. What we've heard from Kelce and Andy Reid and everyone defending Kadarius Toney, and they should defend their teammate. They should defend their player. Okay, that's what good organizations do. They don't throw teammates under the bus. They don't throw players under the bus. But we've heard them talk about the reason why he's out there, because he's one of the best playmakers with the football in his hands that the team has. And he has done some marvelous things when the football is in his hands. But the football doesn't stay in his hands consistently enough. And so the question you need to ask yourself is, whatever you think of his playmaking ability, is that worth the risk of having him out there in a playoff game with the possibility of that happening again? Because if you don't think there is at least a fairly strong possibility of that happening again, then your head's in the sand, because it keeps happening. Why wouldn't you think that there's a possibility that that's going to happen again? I mean, based on what we've seen this year, what's more likely to happen? For him to get his hands on the football, keep it in his hands, and take it to the house? And have this big back-breaking play in the Chiefs' favor? Or is it more likely for something awful to happen and have this big back-breaking play in favor of the opposition? What's more likely to happen in your mind?
Well, he's got one touchdown on the year. You just listed several back-breaking moments that he's had.
I'll accept big plays, big chunk plays.
It worked out and then they worked it in. Tony has done it again.
Thank you. He's averaging 4.4 yards per target. 4.4. And when they hand him the ball, he's averaging 2.8 yards per carry. So the explosion is not there from a production standpoint.
The juice ain't worth the squeeze. But now, I will say that we all questioned why Sky Moore was on the field last year, why you would have him returning punts, and they stuck with him, and he ended up having one of the biggest punt returns of the year in the AFC Championship game. But just because that happened doesn't mean I hope it means that Kadarius Toney has some big play in the AFC Championship game and helps propel the Chiefs into the Super Bowl. And then and then Travis Kelce and Andy Reid and everyone. And Steve can send an email. I told you. See, I told you. But the Chiefs' offense was better last year. And we've seen enough evidence that the Chiefs, for whatever reason you want to pick, as a whole, are not good enough to overcome those huge mistakes and huge turnovers against good teams. You can do it against the Patriots. That's why the Patriots have 11 losses. They're not good enough to capitalize on big mistakes and turn them into wins. They're a bad football team. Just go back and listen to the Fox broadcast. They spent an hour and a half telling you how bad of a football team they are. The Chiefs got the win. We all expected it. It was an ugly win. We expected that too, to be honest. But here you get the benefit of once again seeing Kadarius Toney do something awful, but you don't pay for it with a loss. And so you could step back and not have all the pressure and everyone yapping about the loss and just think, should we keep doing this? And again, that's my point that I made last week about the Chiefs being able to win these next handful of games, but maybe we still don't find out anything. Did that win mean they turned the corner? No, because they did some of the same things that have given them losses last year. They just went up against a bad football team. And you can play, as I said last week, you can play your C+, your B-, your B game against this team, against the Raiders, maybe not against the Bengals, but against the Chargers. Look. Sorry, that's not going to take a max effort to beat the Chargers. That's just what it is. But you can win all these games and still be saddled with the same problems and the same issues that you have been all season long. And then we don't find out if they really clean it up or fix things until the postseason. But then it's too late because you are what you are. The ship has sailed. And if Kadarius Toney is still out there in crucial situations, can you say with confidence, it won't happen in the postseason?
Can't do it.
Of course it could happen. Again, what's more likely? Him making a big play and scoring a touchdown? Or him making a big play and letting the ball bounce off his hands into someone else's arms? Which is it? I know where I'm leaning. And I'll be honest with you. I'm quite sure he'll be asked about it, and he's asked about it, and he'll say the right things. I bet you I know where Patrick Mahomes is leaning. My dude was pissed off. Mm-hmm. He was pissed off, and he was on camera cussing, and he wasn't happy, and he shouldn't be happy. He should be pissed off. He shouldn't have had any interceptions yesterday. Things happen, 50-50 balls, contested catches. Okay, give him the one that Blake Bell didn't come up with. He sure as hell didn't deserve to have a pick in the perfect throw to Kadarius Toney. It's ridiculous.
He's a competitive prick.
Why wouldn't he be pissed off? Why wouldn't he? And then I see, Mahomes is crying again, pissed off again. Shut up. It's amazing to me. If you see, and I'm talking about from a national perspective, from some national pundits out there who are telling on themselves, the same guys that would see Tom Brady take a tablet and slam it down, or to go start screaming at his offensive coordinator, or get in the face of his skill position players, or yell at his offensive line, or like the video we've seen regurgitated this week, chase an official as he's running off the field into the tunnel. You see Tom Brady do any of that stuff? Oh, the competitive fire. Look at this guy, the ultimate competitor.
Shut up, dummy.
What a leader. He's not going to sit there and take. That's what a quarterback's being about. Oh, God, look at him. He's leading by example. That's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Same people. When Patrick Mahomes does it, cry baby. Oh, he doesn't get his way. He's a big crybaby. I've lost a lot of respect for him. That's not what a leader does. That's not what a quarterback does. Really. Huh. That's funny. That's amazing, isn't it?
To me, those balls are perfect. I can only speak for myself. I don't want anyone touching the balls.
Right.
Rubbing the balls. To me, those balls are perfect.
Mahomes does it. Oh, spoiled brat.
We were talking about
been handed everything in the NFL. Gets all the calls.
Who cheated? This guy cheated.
Things don't go his way. And look at him, big baby.
He deflated balls.
Tom Brady was competitive.
Tom Brady chases an official into the tunnel. Oh, look at the leadership. He could captain my ship any day. Same guys. Go find them. Same guys. Whatever.
Mahomes being put in a tough spot because he's always been the positive guy that builds his players up, no matter how
He should be pissed off.
Yes, they just keep screwing him over all year.
I'd have been more pissed off.
I mean,
right? I mean, are you
14 weeks into the season is still happening. Yes,
like
he has a right to finally be like, what the hell?
When you saw that, you're like, oh, Patrick, no. I'm like, yeah.
Well, and also, like, this one was like, everybody took up for you all week, man. Everybody in this organization made every excuse under the sun for you, and then you turn around and do that to him again?
Which the look on his face is how everybody felt that's a Chiefs fan. Like
Patrick Mahomes transformed into Kansas City in that moment.
Right. Yeah.
He was every single one of us.
Yes.
Sitting in our homes watching that game, dropping F-bombs.
Freaking kidding me?
It wasn't that big of a deal because, like, the game I thought was over.
Yeah.
It gave New England life when they didn't need to, but still it's like, this dude,
It's like you're just hoping to get through a game with a clean game. Like, oh, well, he didn't screw up during the game. Well, nope. I mean, you're hoping to get through that.
We spent all last week talking. You kept saying, Stephen, they could run the table, and we might not learn anything about this team because they could still have all these wide receiver issues and still win these 4 games. And so what you're hoping is they win these games, and the wide receivers actually play really well.
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, maybe they have turned a corner, but to win the game and have the biggest culprit of all these mess ups have another classic mess up like that makes you feel like exactly what you said. Okay, they won the game. But did any of their problems that worry you for the playoffs get solved in this?
Tony has done it again.
I tried to figure out what he's saying with different lip reading. It looked like he said, I just don't effing get it, man. Blank, damn it. He's like, look, I just don't effing get it, man. Blank, damn it, shaking his head. Just looking, then a couple of different F-bombs, and that was it. Yeah, we don't get it either. So I don't know what to tell you. It's some of the most stupid reactions. I never see Josh Allen, Herbert, Hurts, or Lamar behave this way.
Whatever.
How many Super Bowls those guys have?
See,
He never seen win a Super Bowl either.
Yeah, they haven't won one. None.
Okay, just checking. So, all right. Maybe they should start acting like that.
By the way, I bet you do. I bet you if their wide receivers screw up enough, they would lose their cool a little bit, probably.
Chiefs win, but some of the same things happen. But thankfully, the opponent was the Patriots. And now they march on. Still with an opportunity to be the 1 or 2 seed. Still with an excellent opportunity to win out this season and give themselves an excellent path to the Super Bowl. But still suffering from some of the same issues. So, not too far off from what we expected against the Patriots. But it's a hell of a lot better talking about these things with a win than it is with a loss. And so next we'll see what the Chiefs do and how they react, who they blame, and it sucks that we say who they're going to blame now because that's what we're conditioned. Well, no one's going to point the finger at Tony for some reason, which will allow him then to blame other people, like he did at the end of last week. It's just a cycle.
It's bogus.
Right. So we'll see. And it doesn't matter what they say. It does not matter what they say. It only matters what they do. And the only thing that they can do to completely rectify the situation is come to the realization that the possibility of him making a big play is not worth the risk of him doing something awful like he has several times this year. But maybe they feel like they need that playmaking ability so bad that they're willing to take that risk. And it's a gamble. Can he do great things with the football in his hands? Yeah, we've seen it. We saw it in the Super Bowl in the punt return. Yes, he could be electric. But along with that is a strong possibility that he will drop the ball. Or the ball, even worse, will bounce off his hands into the waiting arms of a defender. Ask yourself, is it worth it? The Chiefs have to decide that. They've already decided that, but now it's happened again. I think that keeps changing the equation. Is it worth it? We'll take a break. Back after this on WHP.
Yeah, no, I think I'm always in this focus when I'm playing against Coach Belichick because I know how many different schemes he's gonna put out there and how great of a coach he is. Obviously, trying to focus on the details as much as possible, and you want to get as many tells as you can. But in an important game, we needed to win, and so I was glad with how the guys responded, and we were able to find a way to win against a really good team.
Welcome back to the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Taking a quick spin around the NFL and some of the other results from the weekend. You've got not a whole lot of surprises from the weekend. On Saturday, the triple-header, that was interesting. It was actually a really entertaining game between the Bengals and the Vikings. Won by the Bengals in overtime, 27-24.
Bad play call at the end to go for it on fourth.
Yeah.
Kick the field goal, man, even though it's 59 yards.
Browning was impressive again. They're not going to be an easy out.
No, nope. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
We'll see how bad Jamar Chase's injury is. That will make a difference. But T. Higgins, he had a hell of a touchdown catch.
That was awesome.
And so looking forward to seeing him in the Chiefs uniform next year. Steelers and Colts. The Colts are solid. Looks like they're headed to the playoffs. The Steelers are falling apart. Colts beat the Steelers 30-13. And then, what happened to the Broncos? Scariest team in the AFC. These Denver fans say, hey, we're back. We're not afraid of anyone. Let us in the playoffs, and we might win it all.
Hey, what happened?
Well, that same guy, that same bro that wrote the column about the Broncos and Vance Joseph breaking the Chiefs and breaking Patrick Mahomes, he had a doozy. He attacked. It was actually pretty interesting. He attacked Sean Payton, calling him Baby Bill, as in Baby Bill Parcells. He said he was. There was some even worse stuff. There was actually pretty good. I'm gonna have to find that column and. They turned on him quick. I guess there was a couple of plays that he did not throw the red flag on to challenge, and people were all pissed off. And so he called him a quitter, and said that he was more interested in waving the white flag than throwing the red one. It got ugly quick, man. I'm telling you. So now Denver, that's a shame to see.
Yeah, you hate to see.
That's because they got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
By the Detroit Lions, which was great to see.
21-zip at half.
Go Lions! And so that game was over early. And look, the Chiefs were going to win the division, but it's nice to see that the Broncos got back to their regular ways, losing 42-17 to the Detroit Lions. The other games that stood out, the Browns looked like they were going to lose to the Chicago Bears. They had a great comeback, and then the Bears actually threw what should have been a successful Hail Mary attempt. The ball went to Darnell Mooney's. He was on the ground, but it fell into his lap. And then he just wasn't able to hold on to it and ended up kicking it away. He called it unfortunate. Yes.
Well, that's a big point swing if you have Justin Fields as your fantasy quarterback, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. Joe Flacco threw for like 200. He threw for more yards in a quarter than anyone, I think, in Browns history. Is that right? He had like 200 plus in the fourth quarter alone. In that comeback, he threw for 374 yards, 212 in the fourth quarter alone. Think about that. He went 11 of 13 for 212 yards in the fourth quarter. Good God. Of all of the unexpected storylines this season, where does that rank? That Joe Flacco basically comes out of retirement and ends up leading the Browns, it looks like, to the playoffs. And, he had some turnovers, but he threw for over 370 yards. He's been like a big factor. He hasn't just been a game manager. And so the Browns win. Tight end David Njoku was asked what was going through his mind when it appeared that the Bears were going to complete the Hail Mary and win the game.
And there's myself, dog. But, luckily our defense made an exceptional play, sealed the game, and that was it.
He used a different word, but there he was saying he nearly pooped himself, dog.
And there's myself.
Right.
And they were wearing orange pants, not the brown ones, so it would have been noticeable.
The Titans won in overtime, so their playoff hopes stay alive.
Texans.
They beat the Titans. Texans beat the Titans 19-16 in overtime, so the Texans moved to 8-6.
Another veteran backup quarterback, Case Keenum, involved in that one.
The Dolphins humiliated the Jets 30-0, and so the Dolphins without Tyreek Hill, and that's a great job by them to realize they could beat the Jets without Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill sits out to try to rest that ankle and get him ready for the stretch run.
Got a good shot of Captain Eye Roll with a good classic eye roll on the sideline at one point. That was nice.
Who's that?
Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's your guy. You don't criticize him anymore. He turned
he
over.
was my guy for about a week.
Yeah, you were pretty hot and heavy.
A little bit longer than a week.
You got to wear that now.
Now he's my guy.
He turned the corner because
takes darkness retreats.
Hard Knocks, which is not edited at all.
Right.
It just shows you the real stuff.
It's all unedited.
100%.
One episode of Hard Knocks turned him to
this
pro
Rodgers
Aaron
guy.
Rodgers. Yeah.
And then one game and
talking about his leadership.
Yeah.
Like, boy, this guy.
I fell for it. All right, give me a break.
Stand by it, man.
Stand by it.
No. I'll stand with you.
Yeah. You're with Jake on this one.
I'll stand with you.
Sorry,
for
Jake.
Once.
I'm going to stand aside. Captain Eye Roll. He was eye rolling yesterday. Oh, boy.
Didn't him and Garrett Wilson get into it?
I didn't see that part, but I'm sure.
Let's look for it.
Good leadership.
They did. The other games of note, the Ravens and the Jags. The Jags just they're not about that life. They ain't ready for this.
Their wide receivers were.
They ain't ready for this.
Sabotaging that game, big time.
The Ravens beat the Jags 23-7. The Ravens are just better.
Yeah.
The Ravens are just better. The Jags are a team on the upswing. I don't know how good Trevor Lawrence really is or will be. I don't know how compromised he is by his ankle.
In the concussion protocol now, too.
Doug Peterson is a good coach. They have talent, but they're not ready for that. That last night was a playoff-type game. You're at home, even though your home is a complete dump. You're at home. You're battling for not just playoff positioning. You're battling for the playoffs because now, in case you haven't looked, that division you have three teams now tied at 8-6: the Jags, the Colts, and the Texans. You have a three-way tie. There's no guarantee now the Jags are going to make the playoffs, and they weren't ready for it.
Well, they pulled the Chiefs versus the Bengals AFC Championship game at the end of the half, trying to squeeze that extra play in, and then you get no points out of it.
Well, they lose 23-7, and then the other game of note. I told you, watch out for this. The Chiefs had a chance to kill the Bills. Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2. They didn't kill the Bills, and now the Bills are alive and very, very capable of making a run in the playoffs, and they are a scary team now. And Josh Allen didn't have to do much. But Cook had 179 yards on the ground. Their defense was excellent. Well, that's even scarier, that they didn't have to have Josh Allen do anything crazy to beat the Cowboys. They just beat the hell out of the Cowboys. They just beat that ass. Nothing fluky there. Nothing. Well, Josh Allen had to throw for 350 and run for 80. No. He didn't have to do really anything. The Bills just humiliated the Cowboys. And now it's like, ugh.
And now they've got that Hattori Hanzo katana sword.
We will see what happens now with Buffalo moving forward. But
yeah, they're scary now.
Oh, yeah? Are you on board with that? Or
yeah, I was not on board with that up until the Chiefs game. But the Chiefs gave them life.
Oh, yeah, man. And it didn't matter how they won it.
Yeah.
Winning in Arrowhead saved their season, injected life into their season, and now that's going to be a tough out, man, regular season and postseason. I'm hoping they could fall apart, but I don't see it. I mean, I just feel like they're going to be a team that you don't want to see on your schedule between now and then in the postseason. We'll take a break back after this on WHB. Hello there, Kansas City. Steven St.John here for Tickets for Less. Tickets for Less is where I went to get my Cotton Bowl. You know, the celebrity couple that gets all the headlines, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But I like to spend time checking in on another great celebrity couple, 83-year-old Al Pacino and his 29-year-old girlfriend who just had a baby together earlier this year or so.
Well,
glad those kids finally found love.
Good to see that he still got it.
Oh, he does.
I saw Brad Pitt turned 60 today. Is that right? Something like that.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Can't believe that.
Is he? 60 years old, Brad Pitt. Chiefs and Mizzou fan, Brad Pitt. We love him.
He looks great.
Oh, he does. He's better with age, might I say. I don't know.
Clean living, I guess.
I don't know that that's the case, but yeah. I like to think he's gotten after it from time to time. No? Yeah, maybe?
Yeah. He's good now, though.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Right.
There's so much I want to say right now.
So did you watch all 3 episodes of Reacher?
2. I watched 2.
Oh, jeez. They're good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's better than I expected. I've tried to lower my expectations when there's a season 2 or something, because I'm like, it's not going to be as good as season 1. It's better than season 1 so far.
I think so, too. I like how they're going into his past, like his recent past. Like in the first season, they went to like his childhood a little bit. But like this is like the flashbacks in this one are better. And
do you like the villain? The main villain?
Yeah.
Robert Patrick?
Yeah. Did you get...
Sarah Connor?
Yes, I knew. Yes,
of course.
Yeah.
That was great. I'm Terminator! Easter egg! Yay!
Yeah,
so irrationally happy. How did they say it? One of the aliases that someone signed
checked
was
into a hotel.
Sarah Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't care about Sarah Connor or something like that.
The dude who played for the Yankees. The 2 aliases. One was a guy who played for the Yankees.
Oh yeah, the Starlin Castro.
Starlin Castro, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
He's like, Starlin Castro played for the Yankees. Sarah Connor. Well.
Yeah. Because I don't know anything about Sarah Connor or something like that.
Yeah, it's great.
And the actor's Robert Patrick, who, if you remember, was in
Metallic.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Did you ever see the Terminators? Oh boy.
I don't think I ever saw any of them like fully start to finish. I know I've seen Terminator 2. That's the one with the robot that turns into liquid, and
that's Robert Patrick.
Yeah, that's the guy we're talking about.
Who was also terrific in The Sopranos.
And he's great. He's Patriot, right? Not Patriot. Is what's John Cena?
Yes.
Superhero?
Yes, he was in that, but he played his dad, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the name of that now? See, you throw things out there.
It's not the Patriot, is it?
It's called No, it's not the Patriot. No. But yes, in that series that I liked very much, he played John Cena's father, who was a superhero.
Speaking of John Cena, I watched my first episode of WWE in probably 20 years last week.
Oh, good for you.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Great.
I can't wait for that to
come
come
out.
out.
Peacemaker.
You should watch Peacemaker.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
You should watch. Does your son like superheroes at all?
Yeah, he does. He likes to shoot 'em up stuff too.
Now, here's the deal, though. Here's the deal.
This is not for kids.
No Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just you and
No
Benny.
Opie.
Yeah.
No Andy. Because he'll repeat. If you can repeat, will he repeat words?
Trust me, Andy repeats a lot of things.
No.
He's
No
dropped
Andy.
a couple F-bombs in
This
daycare
is-
already.
You
No baby Andy.
and teenage son bonding.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you say, hey,
not gonna tell your
whatever
mom
we
about
see
this.
here, don't repeat to your mom.
Right.
Don't repeat to your friends.
Yeah.
If we keep it here, then we'll watch this.
Yeah.
And highly entertaining.
I used to get those conversations with
Is it?
Bob.
Is that
Bob would
right?
sit us down and say,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to let you watch this, but as soon as I hear you repeat any of this will be the last time.
Yeah.
It wasn't the last
It
time.
is dangerous.
Or my dad would have me, hey, repeat everything you to his friends. Listen to him.
Hey, tell him what you heard.
Listen to my 9-year-old son cuss. He could do a whole scene from Scarface. Listen, go do it. Do it now.
Andy's been on a big elf kick at 4 years old. We got a 4-year-old running around the house now going, son of a nutcracker, every
Right.
time he...
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, it's the F-bombs he's been dropping at daycare.
I'm Frank Lopez.
So now you like WWE, huh?
Well, I got a buddy who does play-by-play for them now, so I'm checking it out. And
what's his name?
It's getting good
Kevin
again.
Patrick. He goes by a different name when he does MLS play-by-play, but he's good. And
Patrick Kevin.
Kevin Egan. But yeah, so I watched it. It was entertaining. I saw that CM Punk's coming back.
He came back the same week I did. How
Look
about
at that. Wow.
They both came home. Jake and CM Punk.
We'll be right back after this with Todd Lebo on Sports Radio 810 WHB.